So he says God is glorified also through judgment in a further way. We see this in Romans 5:20, where Paul paints a counterintuitive purpose for God's law. He tells us, Paul does, that the law came in to increase the trespass of sinners, right? So that's against our intuitions, counterintuitive, right? Why would God set up conditions for this to happen, right, where the law increases transgressions? Well, he says so that grace would abound all the more. That's what Paul tells us, right? So sin and judgment increase so that grace super increases. Right, that's the idea here. Right, so that's part of the purpose of judgment as well.
Mm-hmm. So the increasing and prolonging of transgressions and abject rebellion for the sake of magnifying the glory of grace also explains why God did not immediately destroy the devil, just as he did not immediately wipe out Pharaoh. He also allows the old serpent slithering and wicked scheming to persist. Well, why does he allow him into the courtroom and then finally juts him out at the end? Since there is no possibility for the repentance or redemption of Satan, we're not shown for that. We're told that there's no salvation for them. Mm-hmm. God didn't come as both man and God and angel. Right? But why not end his reign of terror before it even starts?
Yeah. And so Christensen quotes John Piper, and Piper explains God's purpose is to defeat Satan, notice, in a way that glorifies not only Christ's raw power, because you could have just wiped him out at the beginning, right?
He will.
Right? But also his superior beauty and worth and desirability. Mm-hmm. Right? The aim of the gospel is to put the glory of the crucified Christ on display and to shame Satan by millions of people who turn from darkness to light and from the power of Satan to God, and forsake Satan's lies in preference for the beauty of Christ in the gospel. Right. So it's more than just destroying Satan and showing Christ's power. It's also showing his worth, his desirability, and his beauty is what Piper suggests here. Right?
Yeah, it's that irresistible grace. It's once God reveals himself to us, we're unable to resist his will in any capacity, and so those that he elected will hear his voice and turn towards him. So this requires Satan and his scourge of evil to persist throughout the ages. Darn. So that grace may have a long black stage to shine that much brighter light. Right. Why do we paint our theater rooms black? So that we can see the TV better. So that we can see the colors bounce off and hit us in a special way, and we don't notice anything else on the walls, and so
it magnifies everything else. Right. It further portrays everything else, and so that's what he's getting at here with Satan's long black stage.
Yeah, or if you've ever taken cave tours and they take you about like a mile in or less than that, and they go, okay, everyone hold on to something. They turn off the lights and they tell you to put your thumb on your nose, and you can't see your own fingers. And then once he clicks on the flashlight, I mean, that's the brightest light you'll ever see, because your eyes have gotten so used to just darkness and silence of only you and the people you're with. And so that juxtaposition of that light is super bright, and hopefully you can find the light switch from there. And so that's the second coming of Christ is turning on all the light switches and exposing the evil and thrusting it out so that only light then shines through. So when Christ finally co-signs Satan and his fiendish hordes to the lake of fire, it will come with all the drama so powerfully typified in the long-awaited Exodus of Israel. So again, we can't help but go back to the Exodus, because that's exactly what Christ on the cross offered us, was an Exodus. Right. The slaughtered lamb, the doorpost. Again, the reason for the law is to point to Christ. The reasons for the Exodus is to point to Christ. The reason for the long wait in the Old Testament is to point to Christ. The purpose of the church is to look back at Christ. I mean, all these things again are situated on the incarnation.
And this is what the glory part of his theory here is talking about, right? His theodicy. This is the greater glory theodicy, to glorify God, to glorify Christ.